Google Hangout. Thanks for joining us. Um, we hope you enjoy this, and we hope to do more of these. Anyways, tonight we are drinking Hopslam from Bell's. I don't think, damn it, where's my camera? I don't think this beer needs any introduction. It comes out once a year. Everyone goes apeshit for it. So we're going to drink the beer, we're going to rate it, and we're going to talk about it, and then we're going to talk about beer. So we hope everyone enjoys. Anyhow, tonight we have from the old school Better Beer Authority, and hopefully we're going to see a lot more of them. We have Adam Chef Harms, Mark Smith, and joining us shortly will be Ryan Bell. We also have Richard Hartog, who is part of the new reboot of the Better Beer Authority, and he's our travel writer. And we also have Andrew Lewandowski, who is a reviewer. He's our editor and overall beer fan. So, Adam, why don't I start with you? Why don't you just say hi and just tell everyone what you've been up to since they last saw you, and then we'll go from there.
Well, yeah, I've been, I guess, busy just brewing some beer and some wine at the house. I started doing some more all grain kits at home, and then I also just did my first fresh grape crushing right about October last year for fresh wine making. So just been busy with that, doing some more with the local beer scene, trying to get some more of the local beers around. There's some good stuff popping up in Columbus here, so it's been pretty nice.
Okay, cool. Well, it's good to see you again, and you are in Columbus. I failed to mention that. Mark, I'm going to go to you next. So you've been in San Antonio for, gosh, how long have you been there? About a year now?
Yeah, it's been almost 2 years now I've been in San Antonio.
Okay, great. And how's the beer scene down there? How's it different than Columbus?
There's a very surprising beer scene actually here in San Antonio because we have a great deal of higher profile beers than you get back in Ohio, but the craft scene where people are trying to really try out new beers and be experimental is really growing, and I'm so excited to actually see that happening in front of me. Places like Freetail Brewing and Ranger Creek and even places in the surrounding area, Carbach Brewing, I've actually found is really good, and Jester King, and actually the beer scene down here is booming, and it's just it's very cool, and I'm very excited, and I'm actually having a really good time.
Yeah, awesome. Well, it's good to see you again. And Ryan, you just joined us. So right now we're just doing some introductions. So, you're in Columbus, not far from Chef. So, what have you been up to, and what's the beer scene treating you like?
Not been up to too much different, I guess. Just more trying new beers by myself, I guess. More of the same.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, cool. Good to see you. And guys, if you haven't already, start drinking and crack open your hop slams. Andrew, I don't know. The guys probably have seen you, but don't know if you want to tell them a little bit about yourself and tell us why did you want to continue the BBA?
Well, I mean, I had been a fan for as long as probably the past 2-3 years, and then when I found out about James retiring, I knew you and your brother were here in the area close to me. I thought it'd be cool to see if you guys were interested in picking it back up, because I thought it was a great concept, and the blind taste test was something that I thought was really unique and really gave a good, honest, answer. So I was glad that you guys, when we talked about it initially, that we wanted to pick it back up, and it's awesome, kind of what we're starting now.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Well, without Andrew, Richard and I wanted to continue this, and then Andrew emailed us. We're like, yes, we wanted to continue it. He came forward, so we were excited because we were having way too much fun with the BBA just to call it quits. And I know you guys were too, so we're happy to bring everyone in. And now I'm going to bring Richard in. Hey, Richard. He's been at a brewery earlier today, so we don't know what we're going to get from him. But why don't you say, you've been doing a lot of traveling, so you just got back from San Diego. Why don't you talk a little bit about that? And then after you go, we're going to get into the beer review.
Well, I had a great time in San Diego. I visited 8 breweries. One was in Long Beach on my drive down from LA. I was fortunate enough to get Pliny the Younger at an Austin beer bar called Toronado, which some of you guys may have seen. It wasn't the best beer I had on the trip, but it was pretty awesome just to get it. Yeah, I guess that's about it. I got the 90 beers that I bought in my trip. I got them all delivered today, and I realized I went overboard. I will say the one regret I have with the new Better Beer Authority is that we can't have people like Ryan, Mark, and Chef here with us doing these reviews. But we're moving on without them.
Yeah. Well,
sorry, guys.
Yeah. Wow. Right off the bat. All right. Yeah. So let's start the beer review. I'm going to start with Chef. You were always great at pulling out flavors, as a chef, and you do probably more flavors than anyone else. So let's start with, this beer is made with honey, and I want to know, can you actually taste the honey? Are you pulling any honey out of this?
Yeah, you can get the honey sweetness right in the beginning of the beer, and then you get that apricot, that kind of hoppy apricot flavor that you're looking for, and then it just has a really dry finish that just cuts off really quickly. But I get the very first taste that I get is honey.
Yeah. Okay, great. Brian, is this the hop bomb that it claims to be?
It's definitely a hoppy beer. Unfortunately for me and for my ability to speak on the beer tonight, I'm kind of working my way through a bit of a cold, so I've been doing chicken soup and bourbon earlier tonight to try to get everything cleared out. But yeah, it's definitely hoppy, but it's not one of those hoppy beers that's just slamming you with all just bitterness. There's a decent amount of flavors and stuff in there from what I'm able to pick up from the bottle I'm having right now.
Yeah, well, I should have asked you about the mouthfeel then. Anyhow, Mark, let's move over to you. When was the first time you had Hopslam, and was it like losing your virginity?
The first time that I had Hopslam was it was good, but nothing like losing the virginity. But it was certainly a rite of passage, if you will. Having a beer that has this sort of hop character, and it really balances well. They call it Hopslam, and I feel like it's true to its nature and true to its name, and we look forward to it every year. And the cool thing about this beer is that it may or may not, depending on your preference, slam you with some hops. But for those of us who know this beer, we expect this beer, and we actually get that little slam on the palate, on the nose, and an all-around profile. We dig it in a big bad way, and it never disappoints, and this year is no exception.
Yeah, awesome. Do you get it in Texas?
We don't get anything from Michigan and Texas. Aside from Founders, there was a recent agreement where Founders is now making its way into Texas, and so I can get a hold of that Imperial Stout and that Dirty Bastard, the Triple Trouble, and the Backwoods Bastard, and all that goodness that I really look forward to. We can actually get that down here, but it's interesting with the alcohol content and the distribution laws. Back in Ohio, we can't get beers that are 12% plus, but down here in Texas, they don't have those rules, and so it's really nice to get Bourbon County from Goose Island, and we just actually see some big beers. And
yeah,
Bell's is not down here, but thank God that my brothers from the BBA were able to send me a bottle because I miss it.
More than happy to. And actually, I'm curious. I'm going to go to you, Andrew, in a second. But guys in Ohio, what's the bottle date on yours? All the Virginia guys and Mark, ours is January 21st. So, Ryan, do you have the bottle date in front of you?
Yeah, mine was 27th of December.
Okay.
So mine's almost a month older than what you guys had, and coming up on 2 months overall.
You know,
Okay.
if I could jump in real quick, Dave, if that's all right.
Yeah.
Bell's Brewing Company is actually very much notorious for packaging and pushing dates on their bottles and batching them, so you know exactly the date. I mean, to the day and month that they were actually bottled. And so, you know, I have a lot of bottles of Imperial Stout, their Third Coast Old Ale, and their Expedition Stout. I have years and years worth of those, and the batch number, very dedicated, very diligent, and I have to bless them for doing such a great job.
Yeah, that's an excellent point.
If you don't mind, if I could interject on that, I think I saw a thread recently where people don't know how to handle or communicate when they get a bad bottle. And I think when a brewery like Bell's puts their batch number, their date number on it, you know, if it's a bad, if it's been infected, if it's bad, I think it gives the consumer a good point of reference to contact that brewery and say, hey, this batch is bad, and it's only good for quality control and only better for the industry as a whole.
Yeah.
And so I would love to see every brewery do that.
Yeah, outstanding.
And I think
Andrew,
stopped bottle stamping.
I think they did. Andrew, I'm going to head over to you now. Sorry for the wait.
No problem.
But, you know, in Northern Virginia where we go, I mean, people go absolutely batty over this stuff, waiting in parking lots. Do you think this is a special beer? I know it's a special release, but after all this time, is it still a special beer to you? And how did you have any stories about how you had to beat people up for this or anything?
Well, thankfully, I actually didn't have to beat anybody up. A fellow Northern Virginia BBAer, David Martinez, he actually went out and beat people up for me and just gave me half a six-pack. So thankfully, I didn't have to worry about that. To me, I mean, it is a special beer. It's still really enjoyable. With a lot of the different beers, and especially a lot of the double IPAs that we can get in this area, would I pick this up over, say, you know, On the Wings of Armageddon? Probably not. I would rather probably go get something like that that's local, that you can guarantee is even fresher, and it's still just as good. So, I mean, it's still a phenomenal beer nonetheless, but with the amount of variety that I think we're kind of lucky with that's here, I you know, it's not one where I'm like, I have to get every year.
Yeah.
I'd like to chime in.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Hey, Andrew, what do you think is the comparison between, you know, beers like this and beers like Stone and Joy By, where they actually put that so-and-so expiration date on the brew?
I mean, comparison-wise, I mean, yeah, you definitely want to have, obviously, your IPAs fresh, of course. I like the concept of what Stone is trying to do with those Enjoy By beers. I think you can get away with it a little bit further than those dates, but I think for the most part, yeah, you want to try and have it as fresh as possible, and they're still just as good. I mean, they're all really good in their own right. Obviously, some are going to be, you know, have maybe a little more balance, a little more hoppy, a little more floral. I mean, so really at that point, it really just depends on your own palate.
What I would like to see more of them move towards is instead of having the drink by dates and stuff like that is, I mean, I think that is useful in terms of getting more people aware of, you know, for styles like IPAs, you want to drink them quickly, all of that sort of thing. But I think that it's overall more useful to have the bottling dates and get the craft beer drinking public to the point where they know what that means for a particular style or for a particular type of beer, where you can look at a bottling date and know, okay, for this style of beer, this might be something that I can age for a long time, or this is something I need, you know, I would ideally want to drink it in the next 2 months, 3 months, something like that.
Absolutely. All right, I'm going to go down to the ratings now, you know, BBA fashion, so I trust that everyone remembers the BBA scale. So, Chef, let's start with you. What's your rating and why? And I assume you guys have had this beer year in and year out. Has your rating gone down at all after the number of years?
I'm gonna give this a solid 8. I think it's a smooth, drinkable beer. It's got does that have that hop forward characteristic? Obviously, the name Hopslam. I think I was right around the same the last time I had it. I think it's a quality drinkable beer. I don't know if it's top 10 for me. I like the fact that there's hype associated with it. I think that's what boosts the ratings of this whole beer up, is the fact that you have that release date and everybody's looking for that specific beer. And I had a buddy of mine that actually bought the 6-pack, and he was really excited. He brought it over. We shared one. And then he left the other 5 at my house because he thought it was terrible. And I said, well, it's in the title Hopslam. It's a very hoppy, hop forward beer. So I mean, be prepared for that. So.
All right, cool. So we got an 8 from Chef. Andrew, I'm moving on to you. What is your rating?
My rating is also going to be an 8. Again, kind of chiming on what Chef had said is, I mean, it's a solid beer. It's definitely one that, I mean, if it's around, I definitely will enjoy, and it's, on its own, it stands as still a phenomenally, well-crafted beer. But as I kind of said before, there are definitely others, as the style evolves and as more, beers come out, they're going to find different ways to pull different flavors out. So, I mean, it's still a great beer that I would certainly enjoy. So, I mean, it is a solid 8 in this case for me as well.
Yeah, okay, great. And have you had this before, or when was the first time you had this?
The first time I had it was actually last year's batch, which, I mean, compared to this one, and, I mean, the recipes could be different. I've heard, obviously, yours being better or worse than others. This does taste better than what I remember last year's batch to be.
Okay, great. And Mark, how many different years have you had this beer, and what's your rating?
Well, this is the... Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Awesome. So this is the 4th year that I've had this beer, and I'm going to show no reservation in saying that I find this beer to be a 10, and I'm very much prepared to back this up because I am very much understanding that, the recipe of this beer, I would like to hope it has been consistent over the years, but, it's gone under so much speculation and so much judgment from the people who are the hop heads, the people who are like, well, you call this beer the Hopslam, and it only comes out once a year, and we need to know if this is going to be the hoppiest, bitterest, or most citrus beer that we have ever had. And the bottom line is that, no, it may not be the hoppiest, it may not be the bitterest, or the most citrus beer, but the bottom line is that they stay consistent to making Hopslam. And I find that to be the most alluring factor, and I enjoy the fact that, Bell's really does strive to make this alluring beer wantable, desirable, and that's what people want. They want oddness, they want weirdness, and they want rarity. And so I find that this Hopslam, it is a 10, and for me, every year is a 10. And I'm not being prejudiced. It's a damn fine beer, and I enjoy it. I yearn for it, and I will try and seek it out every opportunity I have. And maybe I am biased because I'm a Midwest guy, I'm a Great Lakes guy, but damn it all, I love this beer.
Okay.
No, I just got to say, Mark, you sold me. I'm going to go grab myself another bottle here in a little bit. Hallelujah.
Yeah, that's it. Mark, to speak on a little bit of what you're talking about, you find Hopslam to me kind of set the bar. And I remember when I had it 3 years ago, this is my 4th year having it, I was blown away. And I wasn't a hop head at that point, and this beer launched me into hop heaven. And I think that other beers, they have caught up, but I personally have a soft spot in this one. I look forward to it, and I don't like to be the guy who says, oh, this year or that year's different batch. I mean, I just look forward to it. I buy a 6-pack, and I drink one a day, every day until it's gone. So thank you for standing by your guns and your beer.
The fun part about it is that where you're from, where you want to go. I'm a huge fan of West Coast hops. I love Stone. I love Racer X. Everything that comes from Bear Republic.
Mm-hmm.
Those are all great West Coast beers, and I love West Coast hops. But when I really search deep down inside and I think of beers that really make me want to jump out and say, hey, that's something I want, I'm a Great Lakes guy, I'm a Midwest guy, and that's what I go for.
Awesome. All right.
Hey, Dave.
Yeah.
Dave, real quick, I just wanted to jump in and say, I think that this year versus years past, I had the opportunity. I had a case of Hopslam last year, and at the end of the day, it was tough for me to drink the entire case. This one is a little bit more honey, a little bit sweet forward on it, and it doesn't punch you in the face with the hops right away, like I think that I recall last year did. But this one has a little bit of sweet start to it, and then it goes into that really nice hop flavor, that citrus, that apricot kind of flavor, and then a nice dry finish. But I know we're talking about year over year and the differences between, but I think that there is a difference between this one and last year.
I will back you up on that one. This one is a whole lot softer, a lot more palatable, even for the people that may not like a very strong hoppy beer. This one is actually super good and super easy for people who are transitioning into a good IPA.
Yeah, you wouldn't expect that from a 10% beer. And it was Richard. You're sitting there. I see you smiling. So what's your rating? And tell us about a special occasion.
I love you, Richard.
Beer. I love you guys too. My rating is an 8. And the bottle I'm drinking, I'm really not enjoying the bottle as much as I did. We had it on draft on Saturday during the Bell Tap Takeover, and that was super enjoyable. The bottle, to me, doesn't hold up to it, which is the case with a lot of beers, although there are beers that are better in bottle. I remember last year's batch sucked, flat out sucked. I bought a case of it. I was disappointed. This is much better. So I'm giving it an 8. That's my rating. It's a combination of the draft I had on Saturday and the bottle. It's about my third or fourth bottle. Anyways, 2 years ago, I really fell in love with this beer. I thought it was phenomenal. And I went to Bulgaria after some business meetings elsewhere in Europe, and we met a local there when we were in Sofia. We brought her back to our apartment. No, nothing like that. We were just talking about beer because we're at a local brewery there, and so I had a bottle of Hopslam with me. And I'll never forget pouring him a glass from my last bottle that I brought with me. Because I like to bring American beers to these random places and share them. I've never seen a reaction quite like this to hops. In Bulgaria, Eastern Europe, it's all lagers, pilsners. That's it. It's it's corny, it's sweet stuff. You can just throw back. Never had even a 10% beer. Let alone something hoppy and bitter. His face was pure disgust. It was sure to watch. But he also realized that it's a beer, it's something there. It was really cool to share that. And I think Dave remember when we shared that 120-minute IPA with some people in Costa Rica at a brewery, and just the joy was just watching the reaction of people who are from different areas of the world who aren't exposed to the great beers of America. And it holds a special place for me, just watching that guy's reaction of pure disgust.
Yeah. Well, for those of you that don't know, Richard is a travel writer, and this guy is a true globetrotter. So that's awesome you're able to share that with some people who probably have no idea what they're drinking, and probably think of American beer as Budweiser. Anyways, we're getting some live questions in, so if anyone's watching, you can use hashtag AskBBA, and we'll follow on Twitter and ask some questions. We've got some coming in. Anyways, I wanted to go with Ryan, and I know you have a cold, but what's your rating? And even though you have a cold, what does anything stand out to you?
Rating wise, sorry, I muted myself so I didn't have to cough into my microphone. Rating wise, I'm at an 8 on this. But this is definitely a beer that, unlike some other beers, if there have been other beers in reviewing them for the BBA that someone else is two numbers away from me, and I think what are they thinking? This is definitely one that for Mark being out of 10 on this, I don't have any problem with him being out of 10. This is a very good beer. For me, I'm at an 8, and it maybe some of it is coming from working in a place where living in a place where we can get this in at least decent numbers when it is available. I'm usually only picking up a 6-pack of it and enjoying it while I have it, but it's not one that I'm going out and buying multiple 6-packs of. But it is a very good, very solid beer. And if people can't get this in their area and they know someone that can and is willing to send it to them, it's definitely something worth seeking out.
Can I chime in?
Go ahead, Mark.
I feel like the number 10 is all on speculation, and the reason that I feel this way is it's all situational. I actually read this article recently where somebody said the 5 best beers they had were, the one that is in their hand, the one they're gonna have, the one they wish they had, and what have you. And I like what he is saying. I love what Ryan is saying, and the whole fact of the matter is that beer is good, and it's all up to speculation. Who gives, expletive, what you want? It's all up to what does it for you at the moment.
Fair enough. So I want to go to some of these questions. The first one came in last week. Jonathan McBride, I can't remember the name of his YouTube channel, but he is one of our biggest followers. He comments on a lot of stuff, and I
think he's craftybeerreviews.com.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, you're right.
And I think he even sat in a review with you guys in Ohio once. Seems like a super nice guy, and we're hoping to bring him into one of these when we bring in some fans. He'll be one of the first ones we bring in. Anyways, he's asking about what your favorite local double IPA is, and since we have someone from Texas, a couple from Ohio and Northern Virginia, I'm going to go east to west on this and say, Andrew, why don't you start with your favorite double IPA? I think it's going to be on the wings. I could be wrong.
Local double IPA, yeah, without a doubt, has to be on the wings. There's nothing like one time that I went and got in line when they opened. They're only open for 4 hours on a Saturday every week, but getting in line, and I think Richard was there ahead of me in line, so we're just hanging out and talking. You go in, you grab your case or two, and the whole without a doubt that has to be my my favorite local double.
All right, and Richard?
Yeah, wings for sure. That's the best one. Mark, have you had Wings of Armageddon yet? You unmute and answer.
I've not had Wings
right.
of Armageddon.
We're gonna have to send you one.
Yeah, you need to try it.
Yeah, please do. I would love it.
Next time it comes out.
And I'd love a heady tupper as well. Thanks.
Yeah, that source ran dry, but no, definitely Wings of Armageddon is our best local double IPA. I think second is Port City Maniacal. It's draft only.
Yeah.
They keep tweaking the recipe, and it keeps getting better and better. And it's a different type of double IPA. It's really good, and that's going to give it a run for the money. If Port City starts following that, we're going to be a lucky market to have both productions.
Yeah, I always look forward to getting a growler of that too, Richard. I got to second you on that one.
Yeah. And I'm not sure who lives farther east, Ryan or Chef, but I'm going to start with Ryan. You work in a beer store, if I'm not mistaken. What are some of the best? What are your favorite double IPAs in your area?
The first one that springs to mind as far as stuff that's local to Columbus would be Bodie from Columbus Brewing. That's one that even though
God bless it. I love Bodie.
Even though I work in a beer store, it's not one that is currently being bottled. Although they've been, the rumor or the story around towns that they're going to be starting to bottle at any time now. But it's draft only at this point. But that is a great double IPA.
And Chef, do you have anything to add to the Columbus double IPA scene?
I think I go along with Ryan with the Bodie, but I just went to a new brewery that just opened up downtown. It's called Wolf's Ridge Brewing, and they're local. They don't even do bottling, but I just got a growler of the. It's not a double IPA. It's just a single IPA. It's called 3 a.m. Really tasty. It's got a nice kind of citrusy floral background to it. Got a growler of it to take home. It was really good too. So
I really hope they're not trying to tear off of Brewdog, with the 5 a.m. Saint.
Yeah, I had a little trouble hearing you with that, Mark, but why don't you follow that up with what's your favorite double IPA locally in San Antonio?
I think the best double IPA that I've had is from Karbach Brewing Company. It actually comes out of Houston, and oddly enough, the head brewer actually came from Flying Dog initially, spent some time in Europe and came back here, started doing some good beer, but his double IPA is phenomenal, and they have this 00 series they call, and the 007, 008, 009, and they actually imperial beers that they age in bourbon casks that come from, I believe, Maker's Mark, and phenomenal. And I'll post some pictures, and I'll actually post some video reviews of those, but they are unbelievable. Best porter I think I've had since I've been here.
Awesome. That sounds awesome. If you're going to send
Mark, sorry, Dave. Mark, one of our fans, Aldo Martinez, is in Houston. He sent us a 6-pack to review. The what was it? It was the wheat white. The
Vice versa wheat.
Vice versa wheat. Have you had that? It was really good. We were gonna do a blind review, but due to the polar vortex when he sent it to us, it froze, and I didn't know how it affected the integrity of the beer, so I didn't feel comfortable reviewing it. But that was a really good beer. And after that, we all decided, all the new BBA guys here in Northern Virginia, we really want to try more Karbach stuff. So if you get that
I
double
would love
IPA,
to send you guys some Rodeo Clown.
I want that.
And then not only the Rodeo Clown, but the 009, which is the bourbon barrel aged Rodeo Clown.
I tell you what, Mark, if you have a way to wrap those beers so we can do a blind taste test, that would be awesome. And then maybe have an envelope that we can open up afterwards. We can have our crew pour the beers, but that would be kind of cool.
I like that idea.
Ryan, we got another question. This is from a BBA member who's not on the call, Brian Shea. I want to give a shout out and a cheers. He was running the Twitter all day and making sure everyone knew about this. He's also our resident hophead, so in retrospect, I wish we had him on here. He'd probably give it an 11. But his question is, as people are getting into craft beer, what are some styles and some beers that you would recommend to someone coming into your store?
Are you saying for someone that's just getting started, is moving from macros, or new to beer in general, or?
Let's say coming from macros, because unless they're 13, they probably haven't had a Budweiser yet or something.
Well, I didn't have a Budweiser until James Blind Taste tested me with one. So.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Okay, let's pretend it's Joby's first day on the BBA. What are you going to give Joby to drink?
Well, that opens up all kinds of opportunities to just pull a prank on him. But a lot of times for people that are looking for something that's at least within that sort of a comfort zone for someone that's coming from macros, a lot of times I'll kind of maybe steer them towards craft lagers that have more flavor, more nuance to them, a little more complexity than what they're used to, but at the same time aren't clobbering them with a lot of hops or intense roasty malts and things like that. So some of the craft pilsners are good go-to ones for that. Victory Prima Pils, Scrimshaw, Lagunitas Pilsner, things like that.
Okay, very cool. I've got a question for Chef. This came in from Dave Martinez, a.k.a. Dr. Chupacabra. I think he just wants me to use the word dank on here.
I saw this question. I was waiting for this.
For some reason, we just do not like describing beers as dank. But is this beer dank? And do you have any insight as to what is dank? And we've seen some reviews that are like, this tastes dank. And I know dank's a smell, not a flavor. But can you speak on anything about that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the term dank. I haven't used the term dank since I was in college, and it wasn't about beer. There's definitely. I don't know about the. Yeah, I can't answer that really necessarily. I think it's I don't think it's dank. I don't think it has really an off-putting smell to it. When I think of the term dank, I think of something that is dirty sock smelling. And I don't know.
I will interject on this one real quick because I might as well just pimp out our Brew and A series. While we've been doing this, I actually got a reply back from somebody. I'm setting up for a future Brew and A, and I did actually ask him specifically what he describes as dank, because he actually does the barrel program at Modern Times Brewing out in San Diego, and on their amber it says dank. So I had to ask him what he feels dank is. So, not to give any, there will be an answer coming soon in a future Brew and A. So I'll just leave it at that.
Andrew knows how I feel about that word dank. It's not positive.
No, so we've got about 5 to 7 minutes left. So let's go around with some final thoughts. I'm going to start from my right to left. So I'm going with Ryan first.
I guess my final thought, this is a beer that a lot of people coming into a retail shop where it's in 6-packs kind of get a little bit of, if they aren't familiar with what the beer is and all of that, they get a little bit of sticker shock. Here in Ohio, this beer retails for a 6-pack at around $18. Which compared to a lot of craft 6-packs that you can get for in the $9 to $12 range is significantly more expensive. But if you were to break it down at an ounce by ounce cost, that $18 6-pack is the same as if you were able to get this beer in a bar for a pint for $4, which I can pretty much guarantee that anyone on this panel, if they're in a bar that's selling Hopslam, a pint for $4, they're going to get a pint of Hopslam for $4. So while a 6-pack is more expensive than a lot of other craft beers, it's still worth the price. It is a great beer. It's definitely worth picking up. At least a couple bottles every year it comes out, and enjoying them.
At $4 a pint, I think all of us on the panel would be a very quick evening.
We would have a great time, though.
Absolutely. Richard, you're the next one. You just had lucky bastard Pliny the Younger last week, and now you've had Hopslam on draft. I don't know if this is the right question, but is there any comparison? And do you want to talk for a second about that experience?
It's hard to explain the experience. A lot of the experience with getting Pliny the Younger was just getting it. I'm thinking about writing a travel blog for it, but I don't want to sound snobby. Oh, I got Pliny the Younger, ha ha ha. I don't want it to be like that, so I have to figure out how to do that. My first sips of Pliny the Younger was I had two 10-ounce glasses. I got at the bar, and I had to go walk out to the back porch of the bar I was at and not spill them, so I had to take a sip of each one. I didn't get to sit there and smell it. I didn't get to swirl it around, look at the color. I just took a sip. My knees didn't buckle. I made it out to my table with my older brother who lives in San Diego, and one of the most noticeable things about it was there was no hop lingering, no hops lingering, which is one of the things when I had a Hopslam on draft the other day. It lingered. It was really a pleasure to drink, and I'm still not sure what I think about Pliny the Younger. Stoked to get it. I love meeting all these people excited to have it. So it's really not a fair comparison. But I will say, I'm going to go away from that question if you don't mind real quick. I watched a movie called The Michigan Beer Film last night. It was awesome. It featured mostly Southwest Michigan beer breweries, and some in Detroit. And everyone there, at one point, there's a question about Larry Bell, and they're like, Larry Bell, they set the standard for all of Michigan. But I think Hopslam sets the standard for an in-your-face hobby beer. It may not be the hoppiest, most in-your-face beer now, but that still sets the standard, and that still means something, I think. So buying a Hopslam still pays homage to Bell's, because Bell's is really revolutionary, that sort of thing. And so Hopslam is in a way more special to me than Pliny the Younger because I can get it every year. It's not a once in a lifetime experience, and that draft was I don't want to say it was more enjoyable drinking that draft, but it was pretty close.
Okay, great. Mark, what are your final thoughts? We just have a few minutes left, and I think this hangout was cool. It's great to drink with you guys. But final thoughts on this beer, and what is there anything around your area that can compare?
Well, first off, what the hell, Richard? Oh my God, you lost me. Sorry.
How did I lose you?
You ranted. You ranted too much. Too much.
I've been in a brewery before at a beer event I hosted. Sorry, I'm done.
Dave.
Have a good night, everyone.
Hey, all right. Good night, Rich.
Dave,
yeah.
Prompt me one more time.
One more time. Okay, we got about 30 seconds for your response here. What are your final thoughts on this beer?
It's a good beer. It's actually a solid beer. No exceptions. We love it. We look forward to it. They call it the crack of the fall, and they call it the love of the spring, and that's why we dig it.
Awesome. All right, Andrew. Final thoughts, and what's the next big beer you're looking forward to?
Yeah, like I said, I really enjoyed drinking this with everybody. This is a lot of fun, and I hope we definitely get to do this again with something different. Next big beer that I'm looking forward to is actually a couple of Deschutes bottles that I picked up when I was back in Toledo. So I've already got them, so I want to crack some open here and looking forward to in the next week or so.
Very cool. Yeah, Ohio just got distribution of Deschutes. They're very lucky people.
Yeah, I took advantage of that while I was there.
All right, Chef. We had one question for you come in from our panelist, Richard. He wants to know when the last time you shaved was, and what are your final thoughts on this beer?
Why is everybody concerned about my personal hygiene? Look at Ryan over here. Come on now. No, really. No, really. So the last time I shaved, I haven't shaved in 16 months since my daughter was born. So I've had my beard for a little over a year now. But
Nobody
as far
liked it if you went you.
I haven't shaved in 4 years.
well, okay.
All right.
Yay,
I love
Ryan.
you, Ryan.
All right, guys. Well, go ahead.
Let me say one more final thought. I mean, not about the beer. This is just about the Better Beer Authority. I know I'm speaking on behalf of Ryan.
Damn it, he got muted.
Other new players joining. I'm really excited about the fact that we're bringing this Better Beer Authority back. I know this is a different format, but it's exciting for me. I've always loved the Better Beer Authority. I've always looked forward to doing it every week, every other week, however long we need to do it. And you know, for you guys, the East Coast guys, I'm willing to travel. I'll come down to you guys and we can drink some beers too. So.
All right. Well, that sounds awesome. First, I want to thank all you guys for joining us, especially Richard for crawling back from that brewery so he could be here. But it was awesome to drink with you guys again. I've actually never met Ryan in person, but I look forward to doing that at some point soon. Anyways, I'm James Knott, and Bell's Hopslam gets an 8.4 on the BBA scale. We are out.